the exact same steps we just did with adding 2/5 and 3/7. So if I have these two expressions and we're adding them to find the LCD, just like you did for the bottom, you multiplied the two denominators together, you're going to do that. Do not actually physically go through and multiply them. Leave them in factored form. Okay? Don't waste your time, because what are we going to do with them later? We're probably going to cancel some stuff out, right? So don't multiply these through. Then you're going to multiply each expression by the thing they're missing from the LCD. So this one had the x minus 2, so we have to multiply it by the x minus 1, but we have to do that both top and bottom. It's the same thing we did there. 5 and 7, we were missing the 7, so we multiplied by the missing 7. Our LCD has these two terms in it, so we're going to multiply by the one that we're missing. And then we're going to do the same thing for this side. Then we are going to multiply stuff together. We kept the denominator 35, and we add the numerators. The next step to this is putting the pieces together. I'm going to combine like terms on the top here. So I'm going to have 2x squared plus x minus 6 over x minus 2, x minus 1. Okay, what's my next step from here? Can I factor that numerator? Yeah, I can. I just did that in my head. That's what I was trying to do. So what am I going to do? Probably going to do this on a separate piece of paper. See, I was doing that yesterday on a separate piece of paper. So I've got 2x squared plus x minus 6. So I'm going to be looking at negative 12. What are the factors of negative 12 that add up to a positive 1? Right? Okay, so I did my factoring, so I'm going to go back to my page. Two x minus 3. Anything I can cancel out here?
If we can change the top one to
That's a really good strategy. Definitely something you want to look at. But the x's are both positive. They'd have to both be the wrong sign. So I can't really cancel out anything here, but what else do I need? Step 1, factor everything. Step 2 is NPVs. So I still need to do the NPVs on this one. So what are my NPVs? 2 and 1. Okay, easy peasy, right? No big deal.
really understandable the first part was.
Okay, the first part is exactly what we did with numbers. Okay, so that's going to be the tough part. That's always the hardest part. It makes so much sense when we do numbers, and we're good at that. So now we're going to try to get good at something else. Okay, step 1. What's my step 1? Factor everything. I gotta do some factoring on the bottom. 2x squared plus 9x minus 5. How do we feel about that factoring? Are you successful with it? I didn't show you my steps of factoring that denominator. right? Got the rainbow. So I'm looking at negative 10, and I want it to be positive 9, so. And that's what I do on scrap paper. I usually don't do my factoring on this page. I usually don't do that. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so here we are. Okay, what comes next? Factor everything and then NPVs. And if you forget to do NPVs at this point, you can always go back and look at your math and just go do them at the end. Like, I'll never know when you wrote it down on the page. So this one's what? Plus minus 5. This one's negative 5, which we've already written, so I don't need to write it again. What about this guy? 1 over 2. Okay. Now this is my word of advice to you before you find a common denominator, is I would look at, can I simplify within each term? Can I simplify here first? Can I, I'm running out of pen colors. And can I simplify here? Can I simplify within those two terms? Yeah, and it's just so that we don't have to use really giant numbers, just like we would try to simplify. So what would we cancel out in the pink circle? X plus 5. And then what would we cancel out in the green circle? So really what I'm looking at is x minus 5. Okay. All right, so now you have to find your LCD. You have to find, or let's know you can go with lowest common denominator. It will always be your lowest common denominator if you do this. But what's your common denominator here? You take the two denominators and you multiply them together. So our LCD here is going to be x minus 5, x plus 5. Just like we did with the 5 and the 7, we multiplied those together and that was our common denominator. But what I'm telling you is don't actually physically go through and multiply those together because it's going to be a pain in your butt. So what is this one missing? It's got the x minus 5. What's it missing? X plus 5. So we have to times both top and bottom by x plus 5. And what's this guy missing? X minus 5. All right. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to actually go ahead and multiply this numerator together. So what does that give me? Yep. 3x plus 15, because we're actually leapfrogging backwards. And that's going to be over x plus 5, x minus 5. I didn't leave myself a lot of room to do this question. And then we're going to multiply these two binomials together. 2x plus 1 multiplied by x minus 5. So I'm going to have 2x squared minus 10x plus x minus 5 over x plus 5, x minus 5. I've run out of room on my page. Did you guys run out of room on your page? Yeah. Okay, we got to find a place to put this. What if we put it back up here in this open section right here? Can you dump it into there? So, no. We're going to combine like terms on the top. And we're adding them, right? So, I know we keep the denominator. We don't add these together. We just keep the denominator, just like we kept that 35. So x plus 5, x minus 5 is my denominator. Now we are going to add together these numerators. So what am I going to have here?
2x
Definitely 2x squared. What's next? Negative 6x. So we are combining this guy, and that guy.
Plus 10.
And then plus 10. Yeah. Look, I haven't even written it down yet. Okay, so now the question is, oops, you guys can't see. Can I factor this one?
Yes.
Yeah. I know I can definitely common factor, and I want to do that common factoring first. So I'm just going to go up here and common factor. So I'm going to have 2x squared minus 3x plus 5. Okay, now can I factor that trinomial?
I think it's quadratic.
Trinomial means 3 terms. Quadratic is the degree, which we're both right. So it is a quadratic because it's got a degree of 2. And it has 3 terms, so it's a trinomial.
That's not what I was saying.
You said it's a quadratic.
No, you have to use quadratic formula.
Oh, you didn't say quadratic formula. You're like, it's a quadratic. And I was like, yes, it is. You're super smart. Good for you. And if you have to use the quadratic formula, you know that there's nothing that you're going to cancel out because this is a negative 5, this is a positive 5. If this doesn't factor, we're going to stop there. Ta-da, you're done.
That's it?
That's it. Easy peasy.
Do we have more?
Oh, it's gonna get fun.
Like, no way your lesson can be this easy. She said go try.
Can we do example 3 first? No.
No.
I like it. No, thank you. I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen, for this, if it doesn't factor easily, don't factor it. If you're not strong in factoring and want to use quadratic to solve for whole numbers or easy decimals, that's okay too, but I do that on a separate piece of paper. But we got to talk about how you get an x equals back into its factored form, which is a different thing altogether. Okay, step 1. What's step 1?
Factor everything.
Factor everything. Can I factor this guy on top?
No.
No, not easily. It is factorable if I use the quadratic formula.
Please don't. So when you don't have like just a single, like without a square, what do you use?
Like this guy?
Yeah.
If this was just a y minus 20,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do anything. There's nothing I can factor
Like
out.
A, B, and C, so there will be C. No.
If you don't have a squared, you cannot use the quadratic formula.
Squared is in the middle.
Oh, okay. So A would be 1, B would be 0,
Oh, okay.
and C would be negative 20. Yep. Okay, we have successfully factored everything. This one was nice. This wasn't hard factoring. I didn't even need a scrap piece of paper for this one. What comes next? Who?
So it's times
NPVs. Step 1, factor everything. Step 2, NPVs. Step 3, simplifying the term if you can. So NPV. So y cannot equal, Amy?
plus minus 2. Oh, no. Are you Amy?
Look at you.
I'm Amy, actually.
I was just bugging Amy. You handled it under pressure beautifully. Okay, so, and that one matches this one, so I don't have to rewrite it. I'm done with my MPVs. I look at this term. Can I simplify this term?
No.
There's nothing I can cancel out, right? Is there anything I can cancel out here? No? One's a minus, one's a plus. I cannot. Oh, okay. Can't do that, only in multiplying. Because we got that add sign in there, right? So we can't go across. Oh, Amy. Cashton. Cashton's like, I'm not even, like, don't know what you're talking about. Okay, now, so there's nothing we can cancel out. We're going to do, and remember when I'm saying cancel out before the add, I'm looking in the terms. I'm looking in those two separate terms. You guys know that terms are separated by an add and subtract sign? Okay, good. All right, now we're gonna look at our LCD. What's our LCD? Timesing them, but this one's a little tricky. It's not tricky, it's actually easier. What's shared? Y plus 2. We only write it once.
Yay.
What else do we need? Y minus 2. If you were to multiply a third term in there, you will get an answer, but it's going to have cubes in it, and it's going to be a little bit harder to deal with. Okay, what's missing from term 1 with the common denominator? In term what? Nothing's missing, correct. Yeah, nothing's missing. Sorry, I'm being distracted by all the chitter chatter. Hey, we're recording a video. Welcome.
Question to interrupt.
No, you can. What do you need?
30-second question.
Do we want to say it in front of the children or okay?
Student teacher
Yeah.
cannot be a teacher on my Google Classroom without a MyOnLink account.
True story.
Okay.
Do you want him to have a MyOnLink account?
4.5 weeks still that he has to run
Okay.
the course. What would you say? Or just give him my login?
No. I say no to that, and I can make him an account.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'll make it.
I thought
Maybe send me an email.
Send me an email.
Thanks. I'll never remember. We're doing math. I don't know. Okay. So what's missing from the first one? If these are the exact same, nothing's missing. I don't touch the green circle. I don't touch this first term. What's missing from the second one? Minus 2. So top and bottom get multiplied by y minus 2. What? I don't know what's happening. I'm just sitting here. Why did I cross? Oh no, it was a piece. It was wet ink and I moved my finger. So I multiplied and combined like terms in one step. You can do that, you can not do that, it doesn't really matter to me. So now that I multiplied that through, I'm gonna combine the numerators. I'm gonna add the numerators together. So I'm gonna have 2y squared minus 4y
What?
plus 16. No, minus 16. What? There's no 26 for sure in this. Can I factor that numerator?
Oh,
I definitely can common factor it. Can I factor that trinomial? Yes, I can.
4 and 2.
4 and 2, what kind of 4?
Negative 4.
Oops.
Do we have to? No. Do we have to like do NPVs like any other time, like how?
Nope. Because we didn't flip. We didn't get any new denominators. We've dealt with all of our denominators. What do I do now? Cross out some stuff. Okay, we ready? Now we're gonna go back up to example number 2.
And I'm gonna do 3. 4.
3's done.
4.
Oh.
4 looks a little funny.
4 is yesterday's and today's lesson all wrapped into one, but it's super easy if you change it from a fraction inside of a fraction to a division sign.
No. No. Are we gonna do that?
Yep, it'll be on your test.
Hey, that's not private property.
That's what I did.
Well, I'm
He
doing
makes
the-
he makes a
I'm
point.
doing the work.
Okay. Example number 2. Example number 2. What's step 1? What's step 1? Factor everything. Factor everything. There's nothing really I can factor here, but I am going to express that as in factored form. So what 2 things multiply together give me x squared?
X.
That's a lot of x's. Whoa. It's aggressive, Amy. Okay, you too. Wasn't even yelling at you two, but you two as well. Okay. NPVs.
X.
0 and? No.
X cannot be equal.
It was a trick question. 0 and 0.
Okay, what about x times x? That's still 1. I mean 0.
That's because it's still a monomial, right? There's no add signs in between it, so it's still a monomial. If x is 0, the other x would be 0, right? Okay. All right, there we go. We factored everything. Let's simplify within each term. Now I have 3 terms. This term, and that term. Can I simplify within the terms?
Yes, you can cancel out an x. Can you?
How come I didn't kill a kitten?
Because it's multiplying, not adding.
There's no adds in there. So no kitten killing for me. Hooray! All right. What's my LCD?
X, y times x.
How come I put XY?
Because x comes first.
Yeah, it's alphabetical order. If you put y times x, you are 100% correct. It's just we usually do it in alphabetical order. Why didn't I write the 1? 1 times anything is just itself, right? If you wrote the 1, that would also be included. It would be fine. Okay, what's missing from the first term here? X.
That would just bring us back to the top.
I know. It's going to help us here, though. What's missing from the second term? And what's missing from the third term? Oh. All right, so now I'm gonna combine like terms on the top,
Which is nothing.
which is nothing. So I'm going to write it as 2x plus 4y minus 3xy all over xy, where x cannot equal 0 and y cannot equal 0. I find monomials, they're simple once you get them, but they're just weird learning them. So just know you're not the only person who stumbled on these ones. But once you get the hang of them, they're almost the ones you don't even have to think about. Okay, example number 4.
We're skipping it.
Like this.
You know it's always good when I
Have a whole page.
have a whole page.
If we just times it by 1 over 1.
1 over 1, just 1 over 1. Okay, these look intimidating. This is going to show up on your test, so you need a strategy to deal with them.
Okay. Quiz? Factor.
I think I just put it on the test, but it might be on the quiz. I feel like it's a test question though.
Check and tell, please.
I'll check and let you know, okay? What if I wrote it like that? Does it look less intimidating?
No,
No?
Okay.
not at all.
All right. What if I wrote it like this? Do we know how to deal with this numerator?
Yeah.
Can we deal with that?
No.
I think we can.
X.
Okay. Step 1, factor everything. It's done. Yay, yes. Step 2,
Multiply
non-permissible values. What are those?
0.
0. Okay. Step 3, LCD. Nobody wants to say that. What's this as a fraction? What's the number 1 as a fraction? 1 over 1. So what's my LCD?
X.
Just x.
Times it.
Term 2 has it already, so I don't have to do anything to this. This one, I have to times both top and bottom by x. So I'm going to have x over x plus 1 over x. Now what do I do?
X plus 1 divided by X.
Mm-hmm. And no 1 is going to cancel out those x's, correct?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be a kitten killer. As soon as you have that add sign there, we're kind of meh. Okay, so numerator we just found. Was that hard?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I like it. Let's be smart, and let's do the denominator. Okay, factor everything. Also done. What comes next?
X.
NPVs.
Yes.
So x cannot equal 0. Look at us, we're doing pretty good. Okay. LCD is next. What's the LCD? X. And that's x over 1, correct? If we were to change that x into a fraction. This guy already has the denominator. This guy needs it. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by x.
My eraser stopped.
Okay, we're not done yet though. No?
Copy that.
So what happened in between the numerator and the denominator? What happened? We're dividing them, right? Because all that sign means right there is that you're dividing these two things. So if I said to you x plus 1 over x divided by x squared over x, that was yesterday's lesson. You guys were okay with that?
Can you go back up, please?
Okay. Before you flip, I would encourage you to factor. Did anybody see what you need to factor? Difference of squares, right? That was hidden. Okay, now what do? I flipped the second one. I got a new denominator, so what do I have to do? New MPVs. Plus minus 1. Now what do I get to do? Cancel stuff out. Best part. Okay, where does that x minus 1 live? Denominator. So my answer is going to be x minus 1 on the denominator. If you have nothing left on the numerator, what goes there? 1. Where x cannot equal plus minus 1 and 0 from way up top. It's not hard. It looks ugly, but if you break it down into manageable pieces, it's all stuff you know how to do. And the factoring on that wasn't hard, right?
Is that the hardest